Hey everybody, welcome back to Suck Less Saturday. I am Neil. I think several of you, at least 2 or 3 of you, have been waiting to see how things went with the Gabe White class. And before I get into that, I want to introduce you to the Gabe White. This is the guy that really kind of helped me get started in all of this as I took your class last year.
Yep.
And I snuck into a dark pen, I think on day 2.
You did great. It was like jumping the deep end of the pool
at
that time, right?
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
And it was one of my first big classes where I was measured. And so it was a lot for me.
A lot of times that's a new thing for a tactical practitioner. Like that doesn't always happen. That's not always the way it works.
Oh man, yeah. And so, I left there. Of course, I felt good that I got a dark pin because that's not easy. That's like shooting on hard. It
Absolutely.
really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then a while later, I sent you an email and I'm like, hey, Gabe, I would like to perform better next year. And so you wrote me a really nice note with a lot of things to work on. And we started this whole thing. And crazily enough, we just got done today. You can see I haven't even showered yet. Gabe showered and is wearing his tiger shirt. We'll get into that here in just a second.
Okay.
But what I'm going to say is that, so the really cool thing about a Gabe White class is that Gabe stands up and does all of these drills in front of us and shows us how it works. And he makes it look easy. And then we get to go try it. I'm like, this is not easy at all. I got a lot of work to do.
I don't think it's easy either.
It works for you. You've worked this out to a way that, you are such a high end and competent shooter that it looks easy to guys like me. And then I'm trying and I'm like, I got a long ways to go. So, which is very motivating for me. So thank you for doing that. So Gabe, tell us, why are you wearing the tiger shirt? This is awesome.
Well, I guess I didn't really expect to bring this up, but that's okay. This is like a personal tradition I have, a reward that I have for myself. If I, in the timed and scored demos, which I do right along with everybody else, I shoot the tests for score. I go first and write it down and it counts. And I get all the dead hands of stress and everything along with everybody else, which is major ulterior motive because that's a chance for me to perform under artificially induced stress nevertheless, which is not the easiest thing to find. And so wherever you can find it, you want to do that to get better at performing under that regime of feelings, the whole big wad of mental, emotional, and physical issues that it causes. And it causes all of those things. That's all to my benefit to put myself in the barrel along with everybody else. So what I do is if I have made the overall base turbo threshold of at least 4 out of 8 turbo runs out of the 8 total scored test runs, then I can wear my tiger shirt. And if I do not, then I cannot wear it. So, and then of course I'm irritated at that, and that's happened a few times, but generally speaking, I have made it, which has been, very, very gratifying because when I set those performance bars, it is very much I care, and success is not even close to guaranteed. It's really easy to fail out of at least hunting for turbo anyway, and really any of them, because like Neil said, dark pin is pistol shooting on hard mode. It gets harder, much harder from there. And, turbo is modeled after, although it is measured in a much narrower way than any kind of competitive shooting classification is determined. It's intended to ballpark, such as it measures it, ballpark upper class competitive shooter performance, but what we are really walking around with from concealment. Yeah. So anyway, that's the story behind the tiger shirt. All fun and a little psychological motivator and reward for me. That's
exactly.
All it is.
That's awesome. Well, so it's a 2-day class. There's 4 qualifiers. You get 2 chances at each of them. You can do a dark, a light, or a turbo pin run based on your scores, your hits, and the time that you do it. I was pretty fortunate that I followed most of my own advice and did a lot of dry fire. I've shared with everybody else, I have life too, and things happen.
It really showed. And I could see such a huge improvement from last year. Last year, so like you said, you kind of snuck into a dark pin, and this year you had light pin locked up on day 1.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a cool thing. We did 2 of them on day 1.
And that's a big leap, too.
Yeah.
Dark to light is a large leap.
Yeah. And it was, and I felt it was so much of a relief to see that the process of the dry fire that you shared with me worked out. So I did a ton of 3 triggers, a ton of sight speed trigger 1 and 2,
cool.
A lot of drawing to make sure that I could see my dot. So the process worked. There were actually 3 other people that did the Suck Less Saturday process in this class. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
But Tyler was one of them, Yoon was one of them, and I think Greg was the other one.
Oh, cool.
Yoon got a light pin too.
Yes. Yeah.
That was
he moved up to light.
Yeah, and
That was awesome to see.
yeah, and I think Tyler got a dark, and Greg, I don't remember what Greg got. Do you remember?
Dark.
Got a dark as well. So everybody got a pin that did the work. It was pretty cool.
That's great.
It was really fun to do that. Day 2 started out a little bit different with the immediate incapacitation. And Gabe's words to me last night when we got done was, tomorrow you can go 0 or hero, right?
So if you got light pin locked up, I mean, I get it. You know, it's a test. You game the test. That's okay. There's different ways to handle it.
Yep.
Some people go, no, I'm just going to shoot my game and shoot light all the time. And there's room to reach, you know, because I'm counting the best 4, ignoring the worst 4. You're not going to go down from having light locked up. So, you know, to me, hey, I get it. If you want to screen it for turbo, do it.
I gave it a shot with the, you know, and in the practice runs, I hit the turbo time, and then in the actual when the beep goes off, and it actually is for the money, it's a whole different level. And I got the turbo time, did not get the turbo hits, but so I got myself, you know, there's no chance of turbo. So then at the end of the day, dialed back in for the split bill drill, ran a light, and then my very first turbo ever run was on that. The very last, cool. At the end of the day, after 2 days of hot, it's hot in Phoenix. I don't know if you guys knew this, but yeah, so suck less. Neil sucked less this year. That was awesome. You did awesome. So I really want to thank you for all of that.
Thanks for all your diligence at working at it, and, you know, joining me in the quest to stand up bigger and taller. Right? Yeah, because that's what I enjoy. I am absolutely thrashed and smoked right now, but I enjoy this. You know, the act of self-sacrifice that training is. We go down, throw down hard, break ourselves for a couple of days to stand up bigger and taller the next day.
It was so fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for next year, and I'm gonna probably hit you up for what to work on next year, and we're going to keep going. But so what I want to do is now Suck Less Saturday is going to kind of rotate a little bit. We're going to keep doing this, but instead of following Neil along on his quest for the Gabe White class, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce everybody to some of my friends and people that I have trained under and with and beside. And so the idea of Suck Less Saturday moving forward is that we remove the excuses that anybody has. And so we say, here's something that you can do this week for, you know, 10 to 15 minutes a day, 3 to 5 times a day, without having to go join a gym or drive to the range or buy a whatever. You can unload your gun, go to work in your house, and you can suck less next Saturday than you do today. So because Gabe started all this, I asked Gabe to be the first one to do this, and he agreed. So basically, I'm getting a private lesson from Gabe right now. So, and you guys are too as well. So, what would you tell somebody to do to start on a road to improvement, to suck less over a period of time?
Well, there are a lot of things that you do. Maybe I can kind of boil it down to a micro process that we can go through right now together that, in all reality, you probably want to spend more time doing it than this. This is going to be, you know, like we're going to do it for like 3 or 5 minutes or something. It's not going to be long, but hopefully we make some headway there and give a blueprint that can work for a lot of people. So there's a very, very common pattern in people who have a tactical shooting background. A lot of times you've got a well-structured draw. It's perfectly safe, but it's kind of segmented and not real fast. And that's kind of like stage 1. You know, you think your way through the draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, or however it goes the way you learned it, right? And at some point, that assembles into one overall technique, if not very fast, but it's one motion. Okay, there's my draw. It's kind of slow. Look at my hands. These are not fast hands, but I've got it now into one overall stroke. Okay, that's a big improvement. The point that comes well after that, and you've got that pretty well established, is now trying to do that, but moving your hands about as fast as you can make them move. Okay. And so to do this, to do what we're going to do right now, you need to observe some serious safety stuff. First of all, we've got a safe direction. We've already quadruple checked the gun, but we'll check it again on camera just so we can all reaffirm it since it's been a few minutes. And that stuff has got to be present for any kind of dry practice. You need a safe direction where the gun's getting pointed and going click. Needs to be something that would stop a bullet if you somehow manage to negligently discharge despite all the efforts not to. And you got to really, really, really make sure the gun's unloaded. And so we'll both verify it and make sure of that. The other thing that needs to be in place for this is you need to have formal training in a credible draw stroke already. This is not going to work if you have been fumbling your way through, how do I draw? I don't know. this is not going to cut it. This is not going to be good.
Yep.
Things are going to go wrong with this. You need to have a decent quality draw stroke to begin with. But this is how we can hopefully turbocharge it, and just kind of a micro version of a process that honestly we go through in class to some extent, and try to get some advancement from in class.
So for those of you at home that have been struggling through your draw, go back a couple weeks and work through some of the other stuff, and then come to here. That's the point of it.
So let's go ahead and check the gun again.
Okay. So I'll have you check it.
Okay.
All right, I'll check it. We've got this thing cleared and empty. So this is my VP9. This is what I shot today. It's a little dirty, but
everything is at the end of the class. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is kind of this hand speed drill that you're not even going to touch the gun. All you're going to do is mime your way through your regular draw, except working on just doing it as fast as you can move your hands. So if I were to demonstrate this, something like that. And it's not going to be your real draw technique, because obviously you're not actually drawing the gun. And we're not going to spend long on this. The whole point is to move from pokey hand speed to as fast as your hands move. That's a step.
So this is kind of my draw stroke. So I want to go as fast as I can.
Have a clean segmentation between your reps. Don't go like back and start, start.
So
get set. Go from 0.
Okay, so if I'm starting from here,
wherever it is,
or here,
wherever it's going to be. Yes. Now do that like 12 times. Yes.
Okay.
All we're trying to do here is establish a new character of movement for your hands and arms. Okay. Good. Okay. A few more. A couple more of those. Okay, that's good. So we're not going to spend long on that, and I don't have people spend long on that, because that's not your real draw. That's like a mutant draw. That's not really how you draw. All we're trying to do there is establish new character of movement for the hands, and we just did that. So now that we did that a little bit, what we're going to do is bring it into now apply your actual draw technique, attempting to maintain same character of draw, and actually draw the gun to our safe direction.
Okay, ready to go?
We're going to worry about precision. If something really bad happens, that's why this is dry practice.
Right.
If you're getting something completely out of whack, just stop and we'll reset and do it safely. But go ahead, do a few of those.
Oh, see?
That's okay, and that's okay. We're going to find our way through those errors. That's what we're going to do.
I'm still kind of sweaty. My clothes.
There you go. Good. And
now,
we can definitely keep fingers
fingered
straight for
index?
now. Yeah, let's keep fingers straight for now. Just work on the main draw technique.
Okay.
So do a handful more of those. Do a number of those. Okay, there we go. Good. See if we can hit that grip cleaner. Hitting the grip really clean is really key to the whole thing.
Yeah, see?
Okay. It's okay. And as you have a new character movement, it may be that draw technique kind of mutates on you, kind of change, and there you go. That's a nice cleanup.
Felt
See if you can hit some more like that.
Okay.
I would suggest that as a general habit that you keep it going very gently and slowly into the holster,
holster.
even though it is dry practice. I would maintain that habit. That's a really powerful safety habit to carry into live fire. Yeah, that was a nice one, Neil. Really nice. Okay, a few more. Let's see what else I can see to work on here. Good job keeping your head forward and unmoving. That's a really hard thing to get through when you've got a lot of head ducking going on.
Yeah.
That stuff is really, there's some real negative aspects of it, and it's hard to get rid of it. It's a good job keeping the head still, moving the hands and gun to your eyes. Good. Okay, so let's suppose that we have kind of gotten through this a little bit. In reality, we probably spend some more time on that. But what we were doing there was this process of first establish character of movement without the burden of the actual draw technique. Now we're going to add the draw and just get through it basically safely, right? Without having any disasters of tossing the gun or any of that kind of thing, right? Not getting totally fouled up and getting a finger where it shouldn't go, none of that stuff. And we aren't having that. And so then the third part is we're going to keep all that in place. You're going to draw the same way, but all your attention now, none of it needs to be on speed. Now that we have, and maybe this would take a little bit longer process in reality, but now that we have established a new character of how you move your hands, you can stop concerning yourself with that. You don't need to think about that. What you can instead do is put all your attention on seeing and mentally paying attention to finding the dot on the spot you're drawn to. And that is the third part of this that's really powerful, is the concept of spot shooting, which is a concept that's been advanced at the Rogers Shooting School, among others, and probably a lot of other ones as well. I've used it a huge amount to my own benefit. And that's simply, instead of putting up a big target that's got a big target zone, you put up a spot, like a spot that's about the size of the front sight. at whatever distance it is that you're going to use for your dry practice, and you practice drawing to that level of precision. And what ends up happening is you develop a very strong level of precision, and it develops a very fast ability to draw to an extremely hard target. And then it's really easy to be subtractive of that and cheat it and make the shot go a little earlier when the target size will support that. And you have such an established level of precision that all you really have to do is go, oh, no. When I see dot going here and it's still in motion, that's good. And that's what makes a big time difference in efficiency between firing the shot with the gun stopped, bang, versus stopping, bang. And the second one is inevitably going to be a lot more efficient than the first one. And the whole trick is to get the precision in there, and that's where the spot comes in. So now do exact same thing you were doing, but draw to our spot instead.
Over there. Okay.
And go ahead and add the trigger press too. Okay.
Okay. So
the big thing you need to do here is introspect and pay attention to what you were doing. So did you see the dot?
I saw the dot.
Do you think it was precise enough for the trigger press you did? No. I didn't think so either.
No.
So probably going to need to get more careful on trigger press and maybe blur the line. I know I'm talking all, make the shot break with the gun stopping.
Okay.
That's kind of probably, in all reality, that's probably not going to be with the spot, or at least not without further development. That's probably going to be more like if we put a USPSA target over there and it had a whole A zone, you would, or some remotely similar thing, you would easily be getting to that with that trigger press. But since we actually have a spot, let's go to the spot.
If I had called that shot, I would have broke about 2 inches to the left of it.
Okay.
Is where I was.
Yeah. Okay. So get more on the spot.
Okay. Oh, I didn't break it, but
that's okay.
I drew right to the spot.
Okay. Good. So draw the spot, add the trigger press. That looked really nice. That looked like it's pretty solidly stopped gun, nice and still. I didn't see motion going on when you pressed the trigger. That was good. Looked like a hard stop on that. Up, down. I
did.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's interesting.
So try to float the gun to a stop, glide the gun to a stop, grind the gun to a stop, or the ironic one, stop it by not stopping it, where you keep pushing it forward and hopefully get out of the hard stop earthquake in anticipation that can go with it.
Okay.
There you go. That looked nice.
Oh, that felt way better.
Yeah. So doing that is how I end up with those kind of shots in motion on like that 4-inch circle for the immediate incapacitation and stuff. Is bap right there because so much spot shooting and spot practice that thing is like a whole continent. Is what it feels like.
I can feel it already, and I can see that. It's something I'm going to practice a lot. So the assignment for you guys is to go get yourself a small dot on the wall. Work on the hand speed
Have a
little
safe
bit.
direction behind your target.
Oh yeah. And I got to stop and go backwards. This class, the safety brief that we do at Active Self-Protection, we basically stole from you.
Awesome.
That's one of the things that I really liked about the class. We felt safe the entire weekend. You run a great line. You kept everybody in the mentality of being safe. And so, and just mentioning it here, that you can tell that that's important, and it's been important to us for a long time. Anybody that's watched these sees that, when I'm at home, I've got my barrel block and all of that kind of stuff. We talk about safety all the time, but I really appreciate that. So yes, make sure you've got a safe place. I know a lot of you dry fire already and have some safe places for that, but if you don't, if you're new to this, find a safe place, a wall that has that a bullet could not penetrate. If you have a negligent discharge, and believe me, they happen. I know about several of them from our group. People tell me when they happen. So it does happen. If you follow the rest of the safety rules, at least you can keep from something catastrophic happening. But okay, so find your safe place. Make sure you have a safe place. Make sure you unload your gun. All of those steps that we've covered in the past, understand that those don't go away because of what we're doing here. Okay. Once we've established the safe place, now let's start working on the hand speed. That I really like that. I do that a fair amount already, but that gives me more reason to do it. So get that hand speed in there, then work on just drawing and getting out there quickly. And what do you think? If you do this on a daily basis, is 15, 20 reps a good place to be on that?
Sure. The more the better. Try to not give yourself tendonitis and a repetitive motion injury. And besides that, the more the better, really, as long as you're doing it precisely and safely and well. I would say that for the micro process that we kind of took Neil through right now, that the hand speed thing, just gunless hand speed, that's not a big part. That's kind of like this preparatory thing to move from, I don't know, I go like this to I go like this.
Okay.
Right? That's the thing. And once that's established, you can kind of forget that part.
That we don't have to do every day.
And also because doing that isn't going to be identical to your real draw.
Right.
Because you're not actually drawing. You're not clearing the garment. You're not gripping the gun. All that stuff it's going to be different, right?
Right.
So it's really just for the purpose of initial establishment of the full hand speed. And then the second part is real big, where now you're drawing the gun safely. You're not having disasters. You're not getting fingers where they shouldn't. You're avoiding getting it fouled up in the cover garment, all that kind of stuff. You're not tossing the gun anywhere, all that stuff. And then the last part is the part that you're actually going to spend a bunch of time on. With that now established, draw like this. Draw it to a tiny little target.
Okay.
And get a good trigger press in there as well.
And the big thing is we have to be super, and you guys have heard me say this, I stole this from you as well. You've got to be brutally honest with yourself. And I think that's where I've made one of my bigger steps, is that I've stopped arguing with myself that that's an okay shot, or, it broke right in the right spot. If I have to argue with myself, I just say, you know what, it wasn't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I would absolutely
We've got to
agree
be
with
honest
that.
with ourselves.
Yep.
So, well, cool. Well, Gabe, I really appreciate it. It was a great class. I had a blast. I can't wait till next year. Thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much, Neil.
we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot. Let's suck less next week.